And we are LIVE. All right. Let's get a podcast rolling. So, one thing that I love, geez Louise, there's so much change, like always heading my way. Always. Remember, you got to embrace the change that comes, because with change, there's tons of progress within the depths of that change. You got to go towards the change. You don't want to go towards what's static. I've just been putting a lot of pieces together. See, I go in deep thought a lot, like especially at the end of my day, because I like to reflect on a lot within my day, and just see what has progressed within my day, what conversations I had that really sparked my interest and stuff like that. I also go into comparing, the people that I used to hang with and the people I hang out with now, just all kinds of different ways to, continuously keep me in tune with my progression, because that's one thing that you want to do. When it comes to progress, you want to make sure that you're in tune with the progression. You want to be able to acknowledge and identify, how much you're progressing within each day, with each and every day. And, just so much, especially when I'm dealing with stuff that I saw with my grandma when I was in Illinois. That didn't really settle too well, but I maintained. If anything, it was a big learning experience, and just shows how temporary life is. And kind of made a mistake, tried to, with seeing my grandma, the way she was, messaged my ex, just seeing maybe we can figure out and see if there's still something there. Well, really, I just wanted someone to talk to that knew my grandma like I knew my grandma, And it didn't end too well, First, it all started off well, And then, I'm making moves and everything, trying to make a difference in my life. And next thing you know, I find a chance to check my phone. Bam. Cussing me out and stuff, I'm just like, nah, I can't do it. That cussed me out basically because I didn't respond to my phone at all. I was busy all day. I was taking advantage of my day off. Like, you know what I mean? I don't like that mentality. I don't like any of that. It's like, I'm going through a lot. I'm trying to make a difference in my life. I'm trying to make a big change in my life. Just basically completely do a 360 with what field I'm in now, and just go into a whole nother field that is a completely different ball game. You know what I mean? And I just can't have that. I can't have it no more, man. My best friend is suffering. Like, why are you going to do that? Took care of it. It's not going to ever happen. Because it's like, it sits different, I didn't mind the cussing out every holiday, because honestly, I'll just, delete it and whatever. Because the thing is I really didn't talk to them a lot. I didn't talk to them. It was either rarely or not at all. And I don't know, when I saw my grandma, just made it different. But I don't know. I think it's because I was just remembering a lot of good times with my grandma, and majority of those times when me and my grandma's relationship was developing into what a beautiful flower it became in the very beginning, I was with my ex, I was with her. I was with her, and we would do 3-ways with my grandma, watch YouTube videos, watch movies with my grandma. We would do all that stuff. We'd have a speakerphone running. We'd be watching the same movie with my grandma. Like, she was a big part of it, And I guess seeing my grandma suffer like that, I was like, well, maybe this is a sign that, But one thing my friend told me, she said, now, James, now just because there was something there in the past, because, you even admitted that you were a completely different person back in the day. And I really was. I was a completely different person. And she said, now, not a lot of people change, So sometimes it's not good to go back, Sometimes you just got to let it be. That was the lesson to learn from. You got to keep moving from it. And I was like, I see where you're coming from. But I don't know. I just felt different about it, I was just, but it mainly, I wanted to talk to her. It was just to reminisce the good times of Grandma, because she's the only one who knew Grandma like I knew Grandma. The family don't know Grandma like I know Grandma. None of them do. That was just something between me and Grandma, It was me, my grandma, and my ex for a while, and then me and her with our on and off self, because we were in an on and off relationship because of the dysfunction was so high. And then with me getting into advantage, working my way up, and progress and everything, Eventually it just fell off for a good amount of time, and then here we are. Now it's like I didn't even feel anything. I knew what I was doing. I'm not going to even associate with you no more. I don't even want to see you. I don't want to socialize with you. I don't even want to give you advice anymore. I don't want to give you anything, You disrespected me when my best friend is clearly suffering. In a crucial time like that, when I really just wanted to talk, meet up, and let's just talk about my grandma, talk about the good times, just let me get my pain out, Sure, I can vent my pain out to my mom, whatever, but my mom don't know my grandma like I know my grandma. Like, my mom knows my grandma as her mom, My grandma has shown me sides that she's never shown to the family because of fear, So I can't even, elaborate on a lot with Mom, because Mom will just say, I didn't know that about Grandma. I didn't know that about Grandma. I didn't know that about Grandma. I didn't know that. I didn't know that, There's been times I brought up stuff that me and Grandma have done, and they'll be like, I didn't even know that, Grandma was very, and it's because of the time that she was in. Back in the day, you don't speak about your mental health problems and stuff. And I think it was like a way, she didn't want her kids to think ill of her. She was suffering. But, man, that hits good. Coca-Cola and instant coffee, man. That stuff's good as heck. But yeah, I just know a different side, so if I were to even reminisce about the good times to anybody in my family, they don't know. It's like if Grandma was to reminisce about times of me, people don't know. But the thing is, I'm very vocal with who I am. I don't give a crap. I talk about my paranoia. I talk about my love for how much death motivates me. I talk about this stuff in the open. I don't care. To be honest, I got tired of caring, Because you just gotta not care anymore. Because at the end of the day, people don't even care, man. They don't care. You just keep doing you. The way I explain it to people, everyone's got their own problems going on. You really think they're going to waste their time saying, who does this person think they are walking up in here? Look at them. Look at what they're wearing. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. It's like, they don't care. They really don't care. But, but I don't know. Maybe, it's all supposed to be a learning experience. But, I tell you, my deep thinking has been a lot more potent. I have mastered, because, when I was, geez Louise, pepper cheese, I hope that ain't coming in the podcast. This dude's out here with a leaf blower. But anyway, all right. So, when I'm in deep thought, I'm really, really in deep thought. And I'm always arranging patterns of like why I met this person, comparing them to different people in the past and of the now and everything. Just looking where I could categorize them and put them and place them. And how is this person being beneficial to my journey? Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And, see, when I used to live, in the negative environment, hanging out with the negative people, in just the toxicity that went on in those environments downtown, I was just like, I always had a 3-strike mentality. I've always had that. Because, even with my upbringing, with everything, with school and everything, it's all just a big toxic scenario. It's a big toxic environment for that long effing period of time, So, after so many times of stuff being done wrong to me growing up, I eventually just developed a 3-strike method, and that 3-strike method has been wonders for me even into adulthood, and, I only go for 2 strikes. I never go for a 3rd strike, because a 3rd strike is going to be detrimental. For example, like, the only one that I can really think of is when I was downtown, when I got banned twice. The first time I got banned because they the people, they were judging by the people I was hanging out with and everything, and how I was constantly leaving the bar and everything. They automatically just labeled me as a drug dealer. And they said, listen, you can't come back here for a while, blah, 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 blah. Like, I was banned. They just didn't let me in anymore. And I was like, what? Like, I remember I was sitting outside the bar just crying my fucking eyes out and everything. And, like, some of my friends from the bar, they came out and they sat with me, blah, blah, blah. And, like, I was just like, why can't they let me in? They tried everything to get me back in. Like, he's not a drug dealer, blah, 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 blah. Like, they tried to explain why I went there and hung out with the people and all that stuff. Like, but the owners of the places, they don't care. They don't care. Like, they don't care who you are, And another thing that also came up was that because I found out also that they were mad because I wasn't ever buying drinks. But it's like, how can you be mad at someone for not buying drinks? I get a dang soda, like, but I wasn't buying drinks, like drinks. That was their excuse of banning me to my face, like, But I heard that they thought I was selling drugs from one of my friends. They told me, yeah, they banned you because they thought you were selling drugs. And I tried to explain to them, blah, 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 blah. And it's just all kinds of mess, all dysfunction. That was the 1st strike. And then the 2nd strike was just a little after COVID. Well, yeah. During COVID, the isolation, the New Year's, blah, 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 heart broke, blah, 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 blah. And then we're isolated for X amount of weeks. And all I did was just go, basically, I was going stir crazy, like really, really bad. That's why I made the song Stir Crazy on the dang quarantine mixtape. When we finally go back downtown and stuff, well, during the stir craziness, dysfunction of isolation, I sent messages because I was seeing everything. I saw that she was not my friend at all. That woman was not my friend at all. Blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm sending messages and messages and messages. And the thing is this person was one of those people. They probably had, like, their own downtown phone or something like that. But, because, I did find out, and I downtown, people aren't who they say they are. I'm going to let you know that right now. If you're a realist down there and you're going down as yourself, well, you're not addicted to the downtown scene. You see, I was addicted to the downtown scene, but I was always myself. I didn't have no nickname. I didn't have none of that bull crap. People literally put on their own persona going downtown. And when they leave, they're a completely different person. So honestly, I actually, it just came up to me while I was talking, like, I really think some of those people who are big head honchos of downtown, they probably got a downtown phone and they got a dang real life phone, like they got their fake phone for whatever their fake name is, and then they got a real phone for the real name, I don't even know. But, I just wanted to talk about my paranoia and stuff, blah, 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 blah. Like, I needed to know what was going on because, the woman, even my caseworker even said, yo, she's gaslighting you. She's ghosting you. She don't like you, James. You need to get that out of your head, blah, blah, blah. And, I tried to discuss. Next thing you know, they don't like talking. They never liked talking. Whenever they didn't like confrontation. They didn't like none of that. So they automatically got me banned. That was the second time, and I refused to go down to that place a third time. Now, I went downtown for karaoke, and that's it. But I did not go back to hanging out with those people or nothing, because I was not going back for that third strike. Now, if I were to go back to that third strike, you know what would happen? Oh, James, I'm so sorry that all this blah, blah, blah happened, blah, 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 blah. It's gonna be okay, blah, blah, blah. Like, all the blah, blah, blah. And they're gonna try to make, everyone's gonna try to make things a lot better, make you feel more comfortable, more content. And, since I wasn't a drug user or an alcoholic or, anything like that, like, I was a realist. I was very emotional downtown because I used downtown to run away from myself. But the thing is, I didn't need to be intoxicated by something to acknowledge that I'm running away from myself. I knew damn well I was running away from myself. And I wanted to run away from myself through a dang pretty girl, and that was it. I knew what I was doing. But, all in all, like, basically how it would have ended up ending, I would have been with someone in the toxic environment. Jesus Louise. And then I would have been meeting up people. I would have been opening more doors to temptation, and all that stuff. Just opening more doors to new people, new things, new this, new that, new everything, new experiences of toxic environments. Blah, 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 blah. Y'all don't even understand when you start opening all these doors and stuff, you're only making yourself more vulnerable to life because you're exposing yourself to the other side of life. And that's why I never went to the third strike. I don't want to. I refuse to. I'm not going to do it. But I will tell you this. With we recently going into deep thought, I do have some cherished friends, like very, very cherished friends. A specific 3, that obtain traits of, what I would like in a woman. Because, see, one thing, I'm going to tell you this. One thing my caseworker said, she says it like, James, what you need to do is you need to stop dating, blah, blah, blah. You need to stop doing this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. You just stick to yourself, constantly build yourself. And the traits that you want in a woman, put those traits inside of you. So that's what I've just been doing. I've been doing that for ever since, I stopped going downtown. I've been doing what my caseworker told me because she knows best. She done told me what was going to happen downtown. I didn't listen. And eventually it ended up happening. But ever since I've been working on myself at first, it started off empty. I didn't know nobody. I didn't know this. I didn't know nobody. It was just me. And that was just me trucking. Just, pretty much the way to look at it is look at it like a bath. Like a new bath. Like you're entering a sauna, basically. Well, the positive light is a sauna. Downtown is just a dirty old bathtub. And you're just going to, at first it starts off clean. But the more people you invite in the bathtub, it's just going to get dirty and dirty and dirty and dirty and dirty. Now, the positive life, I look at it as a sauna, and it replenishes you, refreshment, it's refreshing, blah, 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 blah. When I got into the positive life, working on progressing myself. It starts off empty. It really does. It starts off empty. It's just you the whole time. All I was doing, going to work, going to the gym, karaoke, open mic, comedy night, all that stuff, Well, this was kind of in the between of, going downtown, blah, 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 blah. But, once the COVID hit and everything, and like my caseworker said, James, you need to work on yourself. Stick to it. So that's what I did. And so now it's just, since COVID and all that stuff and all this stuff, I can't do a lot of that activities no more. So now it's just work. I haven't done karaoke in a minute because my relationship with my family's just been so beautiful. I don't feel like it, I just haven't felt like it. But if I ever feel like going karaoke, I'll just go karaoke. That's no problem. They go every Sunday. I can just go when I want, I go to work, I go to the gym, and spend time with my family. That's about it. Yeah, that's about it. Work, gym, and on my days, Sundays, I just go visit my family. So, that's how it is. That's my routine. I just stick to it, and, with the caseworker now, she branded me pretty much, if you ever come across any kind of temptations or if you're feeling manic, restless, blah, 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 just go to the gym, get it all out. So the gym has been my safe haven, and I used to call that bar that I used to hang out in my safe haven. I used to call it that, but now the gym is actually my safe haven because no matter what, I'm always in control of the situation. I'm always in control. That's why I like it there. Because you choose what you want to do. You have all these obstacles and everything, machines and all that stuff that you can work on. You are in control of what you do. Ain't no one telling you to do anything. But, I've been getting into deep thought and, see, I don't want to call the positive things happening, like when it comes to, like, for example, my 3 friends that really I cherish a lot. I don't want to call them strikes, because at first it was 2, but I was calling them stairs, like you're the first step. And I told my friend, the other friend, I told her she's my second step. You're the second step. And then, of course, like my third friend, when she came down, and I just recently realized it. And I told her last night, I was like, you're the third step. Like, you're the third step. And, I was explaining to her, how when I was living, a negative life, I was always doing the strike method. But the thing is I don't want to call it strikes, that it's steps, but each of those women, they have traits that, I've always wanted, a woman to have, because, I've always had horrible luck when it came to, meeting with women and all that stuff. Always had, like, there was nothing there. It was so boring. It was so bland. It was just, I met a lot of women that did not have any kind of personality at all. That they had nothing about them. Nothing. Like a blank canvas, basically. It was just boring, So, I got bored really freaking easy. And the thing is like back in those days, I was not a nice person. I wasn't nice at all. And of course, when I was hanging downtown with all those people, I was, that's when I started seeing the beauty in life and stuff. And yeah, I was very nice to all my friends that I would hang out with and cuddle with and all that stuff. But, like, for example, like I remember when one of my friends, she loved talking to her friends and telling them about how nice I am and all that stuff. And I would actually get kind of offended, and like, because I was like, I'm really not nice. Like, I'm really not a nice person. Like, I was really not a nice person. It's because I still had mentality of, my past still running through my veins. That's why I was down there. I was running away from him. And every time she would do that, I would just say, I'm really not a nice person. Like, I'm really not a nice person, you know? Because I was running away from him. That's why I was going downtown, you know? I think that's why everyone goes downtown. They're running away from themselves. They're running away from who they really are. They're running away from their identity. See, I was sober. I wasn't on anything. I could acknowledge I was running away from myself. I hated myself. I hated every inch of my fucking heart and soul. I hated myself. That's why I just wanted to run away through beauty. Just run away through a beautiful woman. Hold me. Let me talk about my life. All that other bullshit. I'll be fine. I'll be good for the night. But I mean, I was always downtown. I was always downtown. Always downtown. But I can safely acknowledge I was running away from myself. And that's what a lot of people can't register, because they're drowning in the alcohol, drowning in the pills, drowning in all that. They're not going to be able to acknowledge, they're not going to be able to see that they're running away from themselves. They think that that's their real identity because they fell in love with the identity that they had downtown instead of falling in love with the person who they really are, because they don't even like themselves. That's what I mean. The women that I would meet, like even before I was going downtown, I was going on, she's Louise. Like, they don't have no personality. Like, when they try to speak to you on a real level and everything, like, they have no personality. They don't. They're very silent. They don't talk. They don't, unless they got something in them, like pills, drugs, alcohol, whatever, they ain't going to talk. They're not. That's why I had to change the light. But, like, I'll explain my second step. See, the first step, that woman obtains traits that, she loves listening to everything I have to say. And she takes it in like a sponge, And she always expresses how much she learns from me. Everything that I talk to her about, she says, I learn a lot from you, James. You have no idea how much your advice and everything has helped me. And, like, she'll go down the list of everything that I have helped her with. And, like, I'm like, wow, I helped you? I just like to talk. I just like to talk. So, if I helped you out in any way, that's awesome. I'm glad I can help you. But, like, I just really like fucking talking. And so she has that trait. And she's always wanting to listen to me. Like, anytime, like, she's at the gym, she always wants to listen to me. Sometimes she'll work out with me and all that stuff. And we'll just talk and talk and talk and talk. Usually I'm doing the majority of the talking. But the thing is I'm noticing her social skills are getting a lot better as well. Like, she's starting to talk a little more, because it used to be where I would just be talking all the time. But now it's starting to be I talk a lot, and she's really trying to, get in tune with the conversation. She adds her responses when they're necessary and everything. Like, the relationship is blossoming like a flower. It's a beautiful flower. That's how I look at all my relationships that I end up building. I look at them like a beautiful flower, And eventually it's going to blossom into something very beautiful, That's with all my friends, And that all starts somewhere. But, as for the second step, this woman has a lot in common with me. Like, really, really a lot in common. And I'm talking about, but we talk about subject matters that a lot of, people veer away from. Like, we talk about, like, traumatic experiences, mental health. I mean, we spoke about death and how it motivates us. She's into arts and crafts too. She motivates me because, sometimes when I see her and her friend doing the crocheting, I'm like, man, I got to do some tie-dye shirts tonight. I would always see them working their butt off making these blankets and all this stuff. And, like, they're just making stuff from this yarn. And I'm just like, wow, this is pretty cool as heck. But that's how I became really good friends with that person. I would tell them all the time, man, you really inspire me. Like, when I see you working on stuff like that stuff looks complex to me. You have a lot of patience. That's something that I lack. But her listening skills are phenomenal. Number one, phenomenal listening skills. And her responses, freaking awesome. Like, even when it comes to text messages, I'm the type of guy who elaborates a lot. So my messages are very long. When she finds time to respond to it, she's got kids and stuff. She got a husband and all that stuff. So, she's got a life, I don't beat myself up over if I don't get responses or none, because at the end of the day, like I have informed everybody knows. Everybody who hangs with me knows. You don't gotta worry about responding to me. I send my text messages so I don't have to bottle at the end of the day. So if I send you a message, just know I'm trying not to bottle that bullshit, I'm trying not to bottle anything. Or if I send a message of gratitude, I'm probably in like a dark state of mind. But gratitude helps me stay in the moment. Helps me appreciate the moment and appreciate, what I've have obtained within the moment, But, but yeah, like her responses, she'll elaborate too, like with her responses and everything, and go into detail, all that other bull crap, just giving me, making me basically feel not alone. And I've told her that. I'm like, wow, you really make me feel like not alone in this world, and she's been through a lot in life. And, her advice is very helpful. She's been helping me understand that a lot of my experiences with dating and women and all that other stuff, that's all dysfunction. That's all toxic. That's not how it's supposed to be. So I've been learning a lot from her. She's been educating me on a lot. And believe it or not, man, you normalized a lot when it comes to where you grew up. What you grew up around and everything. You normalize a lot of stuff that shouldn't be normalized. That is why it's important when you get into adulthood, you literally got to lose everything. You got to start life fresh, because you have to unlearn everything. Like, for example, all my, ill mind when it comes to women and stuff, like I constantly always think about the past, how I was completely bullied really bad by them in school and blah, blah, blah. Like, how certain looks would mean, oh, shit, they're talking about me really bad, blah, 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 blah. It's a whole different ballgame in adulthood. It ain't even like that. These people don't give a fuck about you. They're looking at you, they're probably saying, wow, that's a cool shirt. Wow, that's a cool hat. Oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. But at the end of the day, they ain't talking about you. They don't give a fuck about you. Because at the end of the day, when you're in adulthood, and this is one thing that I have noticed, people are far more vulnerable than they were as a kid. See, as a kid, you could take bullets left and right, and guess what? You'll just take the bullet out, and you'll patch it up, and you'll find interest in something else real quick. It didn't even bother you. But as an adult, we start to acknowledge a lot. We start to acknowledge everything that we went through during our development stages and upbringing. It was completely dysfunctional. And now we're just trying to run away from it. And people get obsessed with running away from it. Why do you think 21-year-old birthdays are such a big deal? Let's get them running away from their life, guys, because it's going to be a hell of a life now. I'm just saying. But, but yeah, it's just been, I realized a lot of my experiences and how I handle situations. Like, for example, one thing that she's trying to get me to understand is, not to be irritated by shyness. I mean, I don't, it just kind of irritates me sometimes. I don't let it get to me. Of course, my caseworkers taught me how to not let anything get to me, or where I overanalyze everything or something like that, or overanalyze something that's out of my control. She's taught me how to handle that. So I handle the shyness completely. I handle it pretty well. But at the end of the day, it could infuriate me on the inside. It really can, because I feel like I'm being none but literal. I'm being none but to the point with you. Blah, 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 blah. You want to keep sugarcoating shit. Like, what the like, why you keep sugarcoating shit? Like, I don't like that. I never did. But I guess with mentality of women, it's a completely different ballgame. It's a completely different ballgame, I'm guessing. From what my friend's breaking down, she says, like, women have to protect their emotions and all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, but I'm like, But through my experiences of, being patient with the shy person, it's always got me into a big mind game, like a big labyrinth of a maze. And you got to keep solving the puzzle and bullshit. Listen, I'm not here to crack a fucking puzzle. You either with me or you ain't. I don't got time to be cracking a fucking puzzle. I don't want to fucking do that. I got a fucking life to live. I don't got fucking time to unlock your fucking puzzle. But that's basically my experiences with all these shy people. The shy people, that is. It's a fucking mind game at the end of the day. My friend, she told me that she's a shy person. I'm like, you're a shy person? No, you're not. No, you're not. You've been nothing but cool with me ever since, To be honest, I don't even remember how we became friends. It was probably, I know it had to be me who started the conversation and everything. Because that's how I am. I'll start the conversation. If I see something that I like about someone, I'm going to go up and tell them. That's something my caseworker taught me to do. She said, if you got emotions, just go express it. That's probably how me and her became friends. But she told me that she was a shy person. I'm like, how are you a shy person? Like, I don't see it. But she says women, I guess, use their shyness to be protective of their emotions and stuff and blah, 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 blah. But I don't know. I really think, like, you should be content with yourself. You should be comfortable with who you are as a person, blah, blah, blah. But then again, the world, it's a completely, like, the world that a guy lives in is a completely different world to a woman. Like, for real, for real, for real. It is a fucking scary world out there. So, I'm trying to look at it from the point of view, I mean, I understand the world's a dark place for a woman, and what she says is, like, you got to go talk to her friends and all this other bull crap, like, just bullshit that I really don't got fucking time for. Listen, and that's one thing, too. If I ever have interest with any of my friends or something, I tell them, you don't tell me? Okay. Or usually what the response is, it was like, oh, James, that's so cool, blah, 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 like, but we're just friends, blah, 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 blah. I'm cool with that, whatever. Like, you want to be friends? Okay, we'll be friends. That's another thing my friend's been helping me with. But see, the thing is, it's like, when, because I've had it where, they said we're friends and I'm cool with it. And then, like, later on down the road, like, way down the road, they start getting interest in me. I have no interest. I can't get it back. I don't know how to get it back. Like, it's gone. Like, I'm like, but, like, what? I can't get it back. Like, I don't feel that way about you. I think I'm just too literal for my own mind. But I also look at it as a defense mechanism and a guide, like a guardian just looking over me. Like, listen, James, we erase those emotions for a reason. There's a reason why you don't feel that way. I mean, the law of attraction is a wonderful thing. I'm telling you guys, you got to read that. Start learning a lot about yourself. Start learning about attraction. Start learning about all that stuff. But, eesh. But, yeah, the second step, she's awesome. Tons of great traits. And then the third one, this person is literally just like me. Like, in so many ways. Well, number one, and the thing was when I was bringing it up to her last night, and I was telling her, you're the third step. You're the third step. And I was telling her, because another thing that was crazy, I'm telling you guys, the universe provides people in a timely manner. See, before the third step, before she came in the picture, she didn't even work at the gym. She didn't work. She didn't work here. But there was another dude. There was a dude, who I would use this for listening skills, because my listening skills are horrible. And basically, the guy had the same communication skills as me. Talk a lot. So I'd let him talk my ear off, and I've learned so much about real estate from this dude and all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. He would just give me so much knowledge on whatever it was that he was into, blah, 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 blah. And, like, I was friends with this dude for, geez Louise, it was a good amount of months, like probably a solid year almost, maybe a half a year. I don't even know. But, But eventually, his real side started to show. And see, that's what manipulators do. They want to manipulate you to look at them in a certain way. But then when they start getting comfortable with you, then they'll start doing some things that are abnormal for them to do. But see, usually like in a normal, but the normal person that ain't got help or anything, when they see that, they're going to be, well, he's probably just having a bad day. Blah, blah, blah. No, red flags are red flags. Freaking period. Freaking period. If you see a freaking red flag, you better freaking acknowledge that and you better freaking take it for what it is. And the thing is all 3 red flags, it's 3 strike system when it comes to a negative. All 3 flags in the same fucking day. It's like, geez Louise, the universe got rid of you quick. But yeah, he had some horrible sense of humor towards me, telling me to go kill myself. 40-year-old man, telling me to go kill myself, blah, 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 blah. And he said it like more than once. Like he said that, I kept blinding it. I kept, whatever, you got a fucking weird sense of humor, blah, blah, blah. But then the man has the audacity. His girlfriend started calling him on the phone. Like, yeah, I'm just sitting here with James, blah, blah, blah. He needs to kill himself. Yeah, he needs to kill himself. Yeah. He totally killed himself. Like, he just kept saying that shit. And it was so annoying. And so, and then he had the audacity to say some other stuff too. They're saying, you mean to tell me you want to get into that field of work, but yet you watch South Park? Now, how do you think that's going to look if you work in that type of field of work? I'm like, what? Like, there were sometimes the things that he would say, it would be like, dude, you're a 40-year-old man talking like this. You do realize that, right? And but then a couple of my friends came forth to me, because, I complained about them suicide drugs. I don't play that bullshit. I ain't in high school no more. I don't got to put up with your bullshit. And, I told the staff, I told the supervisor, I let them all know. Like, fuck you, fuck that guy. And, and then that's when people were coming forth telling me, yeah, he's, very perverted, blah, blah, blah. They come to find out he was sexual harassing, like a lot of people. I'm like, fuck that guy. I just stopped talking to him all along. And then that's when Third Step came in. She ended up working that, either she started on that same day where all those 3 red flags was going with that dude. Oh yeah, she was the new person there. Because see, one of my friends was training her, and I went up to the front desk and I said, hey, I was looking for the supervisor. I'm like, where he at? And like, they're like, oh, he's not here. And I'm like, okay. And then I just started telling them. And she was right there too, the new person, the third step. And ever since then, like, her communication skills are identical to mine. Like, literally, me and her talking, like, is freaking loud as heck. Like, because we're just talk. But I utilize her for my listening skills. But she came in right when that guy was being removed from my life. Like, I'm done with you. You done did what you did for whatever it was, or because, the universe does say that, they put people in your past so you can be a learning lesson for them, so they can learn from you. But all in all, like, geez, me and her relationship has blossomed like a beautiful flower. But communication skills, crazy identical to mine. What really started making me realize, because we got same taste in movies, but what really is, really got me thinking, because, I was in deep thought, and for the longest time, I just thought I just had 2 steps, but then the third step was right in front of me the whole dang time. But what made me analyze and realize that this was a third step. Okay, so she got into guinea pigs, right? And she's built them this fort, this house. She's got a pool room and all this other bull stuff going on. And she talks about her guinea pigs and all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. She's taking pictures, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, that's something that I want to do when I feel that I'm responsible enough to have a pet. I want to relive that part of my childhood where I had a hamster. but I want to give this hamster a way better life than what I provided when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, I just fed him hamster food, I fed him hamster food, and I kept him in, it was a good cage that we got him. But I'm going to give him an even better cage. I mean, he's just a little dude. Like, you can spoil these little things and give them the most extravagant life for pennies, man. For fucking pennies. And, so, instead of having a dog or something, because, I don't have none against dogs or cats or anything. It's just, from my past and, how severe depression is. Of course I haven't had any severe depressive episodes because I stay mobile. I stay moving all the time. So, because when I'm in a severe episode, I will neglect. I can acknowledge if I'm fucking miserable for a fucking week, well, guess what? Dog, cat, whatever the fuck, you're fucking suffering too, because I'm not leaving the bed. Now I don't even have a bed. Fuck that. Get that shit out of here. I don't want any form of comfort, because I'm finding comfort is just a gateway to get into more comfort. It's like, fuck it. But ever since, she spoils these guinea pigs. She gives them vegetables, like really fresh vegetables and all this stuff. And she's trying different vegetables like kale and just seeing what their favorites are and stuff. And she tries to pinpoint what their favorites are and just get their favorites and stuff. Like, she's really into taking care of them. And she talks about, like, just all kinds of activity that she does with these guinea pigs and all the stuff. And it's like, man, that's what I want to do with a hamster. When I feel I'm responsible enough to take care of an animal, I want to relive that moment that I had with the hamster. Because, that hamster was everything to me. Oh, gosh, we would cuddle on the couch. We'd watch Hamtaro. I'd take him in his hamster ball and take him outside. And, that hamster was everything to me. And come to find out that I could spoil them for fucking pennies, man. I can be having them have the lavish... I can... Basically, with a hamster, or any of those small rodents, you can have them eating lobster dinners, basically, human classification. You ain't going to feed them real lobsters, but you're going to feed them anything that we would eat. But I'm letting y'all know, from a human's perspective, they could be eating lobster dinners every single day. Because the food that they need is cheap. You can just go to the dang freezer section, get you a $5 bag of broccoli, big bag like the pound. Boy, they'll be eating fucking good. They'll be eating fucking good out of that. Broccoli? Guess what you're saying to that dang hamster? Did he just say lobster? That's how they think. And, if you go on YouTube and you look up these guinea pig videos and stuff, like, man, watching them just go to town on these vegetables, like these fresh vegetables and stuff, it is the coolest thing. You're giving these things like a lavish life for their 3-year expectancy, their 3-year life, their expiration date. And see, if I ever am to get a pet, like, I want to have, like, some from the rodents. If I ever get a dog, it's got to be a Chihuahua or something. Just something rodent, because just something that ain't going to survive in the wild. Gosh dang, just something that ain't going to survive. I ain't going to be responsible. I don't want to have, a big dog that can, survive on his fucking own. Like, I want something that just, they're going to die. They're going to die, It's kind of why I wanted a pet possum. I want a pet possum. I wanted that for a while, but, as I continue to, progress mentally, I really don't want a possum, because what vet would you take it to and all that other bullshit, you start thinking about that stuff. Yes, possums get killed a lot. They get fucking killed a lot. Yes, they fucking do. And it's always for either roadkill or they're getting killed for some because people think so stupid of how possums really are. And, I've always wanted to take care of them. I've always wanted one because, they're just so misunderstood, and they really connected with me because I was always misunderstood growing up and everything. I was misunderstood by every fucking body, and to hear all the rumors and all these bullshit lies that people tell about possums, I'm just like, man, I feel sorry for them because I did my research, and I know that they ain't half the shit that people talk about, you know. But yeah, you got to think of the vet. You got to think of all that bullshit and all that other stuff. But you know, with a fucking hamster, you know, or something like a guinea pig. I honestly say chihuahuas are rodents. Any small dog is a rodent. I'm just saying, they're gonna die. They're gonna die out in the wild, man. A hawk can just swoop them up and like, oh boy, we're eating lobster dinner tonight. You know, they're freaking gonna die. They're freaking gonna die, period. Now, will a hawk go after a dang German Shepherd or something? No. No, they're not. But will they go after that little chihuahua or that little bitty weenie dog down there? Oh yeah, they're going towards that. You know, especially a chihuahua, you know. Because I swear, like, my parents, they got a dog. Her name was Lola, you know. A hawk has swooped down to try to get her because she was so little. I'm telling you, them little animals, they'll die. But another pet that I would want is probably like a beetle or something, you know, because I find insects, they're more instinct, you know. If you just supply them with what they need, they're fine. They're content because they're just natural instinct. They're all instinct. The same with reptiles, but I wouldn't want to deal with a reptile, you know. I don't want to deal with a reptile. That's a whole nother ball game. Because they got the molten phases and all that stuff. I don't want to go through any of that. You know, but I would want, like, you know, maybe a beetle. Because beetles have a big part of my life, you know. Especially the Hercules beetle. Because I was actually telling my tattoo artist, I do want to get a Hercules beetle one of these days. Because she did a drawing of a bee. And it was actually really good. I'm like, you know, you're going to do a Hercules beetle for me one of these days. And so, you know. And I remember the last time I got a tattoo from her, we were talking about our beetles and stuff like that, you know. And it's just that's one thing, like, you know, since I've been progressing in a positive light, I've just been attracting a lot better. That's why I don't want to use the 3-strike method for positive experiences. But, you know, one thing the third step said, you know, when I told her I don't even compare positive experience as strikes, but, you know, I do it as steps. And one thing she brought up is, well, James, if you were doing it by strikes, well, just remember the fourth one is going to be a home run because it's positive. This is a positive light. So, you know, holy crap, I'm going to bring it up to her because after the podcast, I'm going to go in and talk to her anyway. But like, so I could be hitting and I'm not striking, I'm hitting. So like the first I hit, second I hit, third hit. And then she said, fourth, that's home run. And, you know, I'm like, whoa, so you think I'm going to meet the perfect person that obtains all 3 of y'all's traits that y'all have? Because, you know, she said, I ain't saying that now. I ain't saying that. I don't know, but all I know is the experiences that you have explained to me is all positive. And just know, fourth is home run. So I'm like, home run. So I don't know what's in store for me, you know. I do know. Yeah. See, one thing that I do know is I'm learning a lot from my second step. Learning a lot from her, you know. She's giving me a lot of dating advice and all that other stuff, blah, blah, blah. And one time I was telling her about, there was this one woman at the mall. And, you know, because they see me all the time. Like when I'm getting new jewelry for my septum or something. And I always see this one woman in there. And just one day I went in there. I was just talking to one of the workers. I'm like, what is her name? And they told me her name. I just went up. I said, hey, I just want to say you're very pretty. And I just started explaining, you know. And then I just kind of left it at that. And like ever since then, like when I come back to the store or anything, she remembers me. She definitely remembers me. And like I was telling my friend, I was just like, I don't know, she hasn't gotten off my head. And I'm like, is that some kind of a sign or something? And she was like, James, next time you go into the store, you need to give her your number. I'm like, why would I give her my number? And she's like, well, you need to give her your number and you need to just ask her out. blah, 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 blah. So my friend's been trying to teach me on all this stuff. See, I don't even know about any of that stuff. I don't know how any of that the way she's teaching me stuff, I'm not even familiar with any of this. Half the stuff she is telling me, I'm just like, but if I were to do that, where do I get the entitlement to even do that? Because see, that's what I mean. A lot that I have normalized through my upbringing, a lot of the bullshit is like, where did you get the audacity to think that you could do that? First thing I think about, like, if someone were to just go hand a number, like, it's like, why are you giving me this? Why are you giving me this? Like, why do I need this? That's what I think. Like, I would just, because one of my friends, they just explain, no, you don't want to give your number. You want to just give Instagram or something like that. See, I only do Instagram and Facebook, and I don't even get on Facebook that much. I just get on Instagram. I'm always on Instagram. So, usually just hand out my Instagram page. But my friend she said, just hand your number. What's the worst they can do? What's the worst that's going to happen? But she's been teaching me a lot, and she said to go make a move next time I'm up there. And I'm like, okay, I will see how I feel. She said, make sure it's written down and everything ahead of time so that when you go in. And she told me to say something, and I'm like, no, she said, like, so yeah, here's my number. You should totally let me know if there's any new jewelry or something like that. She said it really good. She said something really good. And I'm like, what? No, that don't even sound like something I would say. Like, I would want to do it as me. I don't want to be fake. Or I could just say, listen, my friend told me to do this, so I'm just going with the flow. Here you go. That's kind of what I want to do. I could do that easily because that's just me. I can do me. I can be me 100% no matter what. But man, if I'm faking something, like, I don't want to fake nothing, So she said, well, just ask them out. Just ask them out. She said, ask them. I could do coffee. I could ask coffee, but I have noticed a pattern when I ask out for coffee. Yeah, they say, yeah. They're like, yeah, that sounds good. And then later on down the road, nothing ever happens. And then eventually I just forget about it because, I'm not even checking on it. I used to back in the day, like when I was dysfunctional in the brain and I'd say, let's go get coffee. Oh boy, I meant it. But no, now I just kind of say it is like, yeah, we should go get coffee sometime. Do I still go to Starbucks like I used to? Heck no, I don't. I'm making coffee at home now. Go get coffee, what? Like, huh? Like, because ever since I noticed the pattern, and one of the groups I follow, they said that all that is sitcom life. Like, no one has time to do any of that. A lot of people are too focusing on them. They're too focused on themselves to do something like that. I'm like, you're right. That is a stereotype that's developed by the media and sitcoms and all that stuff. But I don't know. I might do coffee. She said go out for lunch. She said, well, if you don't want to do coffee, just ask for lunch. But the thing is I don't even eat lunch. Like, I don't know. I don't know. They're teaching me a lot. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a whole lot about this new outlet of life that I've never been exposed to. And all I can say is I'm thankful. I'm thankful for every fucking second and every person that I meet during this journey. And I'm thankful for everything that I learn. But anyway, it's 35. And I am out. Y'all stay positive and peace.